Hey guys! Welcome back to another installment of Thanksgiving with Hasty Vegan. All this week, I'm giving recipes to help you navigate this Thanksgiving holiday. Today's recipe is the dessert. Come on, y'all. We've got our sides, we've got our protein, and we've gotta have dessert. Today's dessert is an apple crisp, one bowl by Minimalist Baker. So again, that link's gonna be below so you can follow along. Let's get started. So today's recipe is actually pretty simple. It's marketed as a 10 ingredient, but one bowl. So the ingredients are really the spices, and you're gonna do everything in this one bowl, and then you're gonna bake. But it is technically 2 steps, if you will. So the thing that would take the longest, however, is the apples. So I went ahead and actually hand peeled the apples, but I think to make this quicker, that's what we're about here, right? To make this quicker, you can buy pre-sliced apples at the grocery store, and I think it would go quicker. But the recipe does call for 1 tart apple, so I used a Granny Smith, and 1 sweet apple, and I used a Honeycrisp apple. All right, let's go ahead and coat our apples with the ingredients listed under apples in the recipe. So the one right after apples is our lemon juice. So 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pour that in. That's like that. And then it says 2 teaspoons of water. So that's what I got right here. And then a combination of 2 to 3 tablespoons coconut sugar, a half a teaspoon of cinnamon, and 2 teaspoons arrowroot or cornstarch. So I went with cornstarch. And then for the coconut sugar, I only did 2 tablespoons just because I'm not sure how sweet this will turn out. So for those of you who like sweeter than sweet, go ahead and add that extra tablespoon of coconut sugar. So I've already mixed all of the ingredients in here, and I'm gonna go ahead and pour this in. And then it says to mix. All right, so now that we have everything mixed evenly, it says to put it in our baking sheet. So we're just gonna even this out and put it in our baking sheet here. And it says any liquids that are in the bowl, pour them over the remaining apples. So you don't wanna waste anything. And I'm not necessarily making this the most prettiest. My bowl is a little smaller than it probably should be. So when you guys are making this, use a little bit of a bigger bowl. So what I was doing was kind of cutting my apples in half as I was stirring. That way I could evenly coat everything a little bit quicker. And I'll even this out a little bit more when I get to the next step with the oats. All right, so I rinsed out my bowl. Therefore it is still one bowl, and I'm going to do what's called the topping. So we're gonna put all of that together. So the first ingredient is 2/3 cup rolled oats. So I'm gonna pour that in. 1/3 cup almond flour or almond meal, whichever one you have on hand. I had both, but since the almond flour was listed first, I decided that maybe that's what they used. That's kind of my rule of thumb. So I'm gonna go ahead and use that since I had it. The next ingredient is our seasoning, starting with our coconut sugar. This time it didn't give a range, it says 3 tablespoons, so I'm gonna go ahead and use the whole 3 tablespoons. Then we have a dash of sea salt, we have another half teaspoon of cinnamon, and all of that is in here, pre-mixed, so I'm gonna go ahead and pour that in. Then we have a 1/3 cup chopped raw pecans, how do you guys say it? Comment below and let me know if you say pecans, you say pecans, or if you're Cajun, them pecans. Cracking myself up over here, but you're gonna go ahead and pour that in as well. And last but not least, it is a 1/3 cup coconut oil. And then we're going to mix. So I'm finished mixing all the ingredients for the topping. It does say that if you have any clumps of sugar, you're gonna wanna press those out before you move on to the next step. So I've done that. And here is my topping. Seriously guys, just give this to me. Bake this and give this to me. I'm pretty sure you could use this and literally put it on yogurt or so many different things. So let's go ahead and put this in an even layer over our apples, and then we're gonna bake it at 350 degrees for 45 minutes to 55 minutes. All right, we've got our finished product here. So here is our apple crisp, our 1 bowl apple crisp by Minimalist Baker. So one note when you're baking is, especially if you're making this yourself and you're slicing the apples, I noticed that my apples that were on the outside edges of the sheet pan got a little bit more crisp. Some of them actually got where it kind of gave a little bit of a burnt taste. So I'd be careful, watch your oven, especially if they're thinner or thinly sliced. But of course, if they're a little bit thicker, I'm sure that they can go the full 45 minutes. But just keep an eye on it. I'm sure it'll be fine. All right, let's take that taste. So the first flavor that I get is that crisp flavor. What I mean by that is that golden brown crispiness. Like, you can taste the crispiness in this recipe when you take a bite, which is perfect because that's perfectly in line with the apple crisps description of this recipe. However, it doesn't actually have a strong apple flavor, which you would expect with it having such a tart apple and then a sweet apple. You have 2 apples in this recipe, and you get more of the cinnamon, you get more of that crisp flavor, and kind of more of a granola-y flavor than you do that apple flavor. So if you guys want to add more apple, if that's something you're interested in, you guys can do that. My favorite part of this recipe, though, is the pecan granola cinnamon combination that's happening. Like, that bite, when you get those pecans in there, it is just a really good bite. This would pair perfectly with, of course, ice cream. Anytime you have an apple pie of any kind or apple dessert, you think ice cream, vanilla ice cream. But the recipe does also say that you can add peanut butter, which does sound really good. So I might actually try this after this video. Hey guys, thanks again for joining me today. If you've enjoyed these videos, please let me know below. Let me know if you try these videos, and also subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you can stay up to date on everything that I'm posting. Again, this is a 5-part series of Thanksgiving with Hasty Vegan. So you can always go to my page and watch any videos that you've missed. Until next time.